When you follow Christ on that very narrow path, other people will at times question your choices. They will. They'll question your judgment. They'll question your motivation, your decisions, your actions, your wisdom, your direction that you're taking, just like they did with Jesus. And I'm telling you, that is when your mettle is tested. Because the perfect work of Christ in your life will often look nothing like what you or anyone else in this life thinks it should. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about because you've been through it firsthand. And for those of you who haven't, you can write this down and post it on your refrigerator for future reference. If you're following Jesus Christ on that narrow path, there will be times in your life when you will be deeply misunderstood by others, even those who are closest to you, just as Jesus was deeply misunderstood, because it is a narrow truth that you're following when you're following Him, because you're no longer trying to live your life in step with the world out on the freeway. This is a narrow path, and it leads you to places and people and decisions and actions throughout your life that other people simply will not always understand. And I'll be the first one to tell you, there are times in my own life when I wish Jesus would do things differently than He does. But listen, I'm following Him. He isn't following me. Too many Christians think Jesus is a passenger on their journey through life, that it's their job to set the course and then bring Him along for the ride to provide the blessings and protection that we need along the way. No, that's not how it works. He's not a genie in a bottle that responds to our beck and call. That's what the religious Jews wanted, and that's often what we want today when we forget ourselves and our place in His divine order. In fact, the Old Testament character Job forgot himself once and presumed to question God based on his friend's advice after great calamity had befallen him. Here's how God responded to Job. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, "Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Dress for action like a man. I will question you, and you make it known to me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Or who shut in the sea with doors when it burst out from the womb, when I made clouds its garment and thick darkness its swaddling band, and prescribed limits for it and set bars and doors and said, thus far shall you come and no farther, and here shall your proud waves be stayed? Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place, that it might take hold of the skirts of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it? It is changed like clay under the seal, and its features stand out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and their uplifted arm is broken. Have you entered into the springs of the sea, or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have the gates of death been revealed to you, or have you seen the gates of deep darkness? Have you comprehended the expanse of the earth? Declare if you know all this. Job 38, 1 through 18. By the way, that is just a sampling of God's response to Job. It goes on for 3.5 more chapters. Then Job answered the Lord and said, behold, I'm of small account. What shall I answer you? I lay my hand on my mouth. I've spoken once, and I will not answer twice, but I will proceed no further. He went on to say, I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. This is the only appropriate response when we presume to instruct a holy and righteous God in how we think He should be working in our lives.